My name is Emma, and today, I am going to tell you a story that changed my life forever. A few months ago, I became a millionaire. Yes, you heard that right. A woman who once counted every single penny, suddenly had more money than I could ever imagine. But here is the truth. That money did not bring me happiness. It brought lies. It brought distance. It brought pain. And in the end, karma came for me, harder than I ever expected. You are watching Karma's Call. Before I begin, I want you to do 3 things. Comment your country and the time you are watching this video. Click like if you believe in karma. And subscribe, because here, every story is a reminder that what goes around always comes around. Now, let me take you back. Back to the time before I won the lottery. Back to the days when I was just Emma. Life was never easy for me. I lived with my husband and our 2 children. We were not starving, but we were always struggling. Bills came faster than money did. Rent was always late. Groceries felt like a luxury. And school fees, they felt like a punishment. My daughter once looked at me, her tiny hands holding my arm, and asked softly, "Mama, why can't I have toys like my friend?" I smiled. I told her, "One day, sweetheart. One day." But inside, my heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. My husband and I, we fought often. Not because we didn't love each other, but because stress was eating us alive. Money was the poison that sat between us. Sometimes, we skipped meals, so our children could eat. Sometimes, I walked past shops, staring at things I knew I could never buy. Sometimes, I cried alone at night, wondering if life would ever be different. And then, one ordinary afternoon, fate whispered to me. I was buying bread from the bakery, when my eyes fell on a bright-colored piece of paper. A lottery ticket. I laughed at first. What were the chances? People like me don't win. But something inside me whispered, try once. Just once. So, with trembling fingers, I bought that ticket. Not knowing that single decision would set off a chain of events that would destroy everything I loved. A week passed. I had almost forgotten about the ticket. Life was too busy with bills, and arguments, and endless stress. But one evening, while clearing out my purse, I saw it. That little slip of paper. The lottery ticket. I sat down at the table, my heart racing a little. The draw numbers had been announced earlier that day. I opened my phone and began to compare. First number, matched. My hands froze. Second number, also matched. I felt a shiver down my spine. Third number, matched again. I laughed nervously. This can't be real, I whispered to myself. But then, the 4th number, the 5th, and the 6th. All matched. I dropped the ticket onto the table, as if it had burned my fingers. My body shook. My throat felt dry. And my eyes filled with tears. I had won. I had actually won. Millions. For a moment, the room spun around me. I imagined paying off every debt. I imagined buying my children toys, clothes, food without worrying. I imagined a beautiful home, warm meals, and peace. But then, fear crept in. What if people found out? What if relatives came knocking at my door? What if neighbors whispered behind my back? Just then, my husband walked in. He saw my pale face, and the ticket lying on the table. "What's that?" he asked casually. My mouth opened. I wanted to scream, "We're rich. We're saved." But something inside me stopped me. A heavy, cold feeling of doubt. Instead, I quickly grabbed the ticket and smiled weakly. "Oh, nothing. Just a bill I forgot to pay." He nodded, not paying much attention. And in that moment, I made a decision. A decision that would haunt me forever. I would tell no one. Not my husband. Not my children. Not a single soul. This money would be my secret. The next day, I went to the bank. I opened a secret account. The clerk asked questions, smiled, congratulated me. But inside, guilt was crawling through my veins. I told myself, I'm protecting my family. This is for their own good. But deep down, I knew I was lying. I wasn't protecting them. I was protecting myself. Days turned into weeks. The money sat in my secret account. And with every sunrise, temptation grew stronger. At first, I told myself I wouldn't touch it. I wanted to believe I was strong enough. But then, the children needed new shoes. And my husband wanted medicine that we could never afford before. So, I used it. Just a little. No one would notice. I thought. Groceries became heavier. Clothes became newer. And the smiles on my children's faces returned. But so did the questions. Emma, how are we affording this? My husband asked one evening. I smiled and lied. I've been doing extra side jobs. Cleaning, helping neighbors, you know. He frowned. But said nothing. I felt my chest tighten. I hated lying. But the lie kept me safe. Every day, I wore two faces. One, of a wife and mother, still struggling. The other, of a woman holding a secret fortune. Sometimes, at night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. My mind whispered, tell him. Tell the truth. But fear screamed louder. What if he told his brothers? What if his friends found out? What if they all demanded a share, until nothing was left? So I stayed silent. I convinced myself I was doing the right thing. But silence has a price. My husband began to watch me more closely. He noticed the groceries. The extra money for school. The new clothes. His eyes grew suspicious. Dark. Searching. One night, while we sat at the dinner table, he asked again. Emma, are you hiding something from me? I froze. My children looked at me, wide-eyed, waiting for my answer. I forced a smile. No, of course not. Why would I hide anything? He didn't believe me. I could see it in his eyes. The doubt had planted a seed. And slowly, it began to grow. Soon, neighbors started whispering too. Anna's life seems better lately. Did you notice? Where is she getting the money from? Every word felt like a dagger. Every glance, like a spotlight. I thought I was protecting my family. But instead, I was building a wall between us. And behind that wall, the cracks were beginning to show. My husband's doubt began to poison our home. Every word I spoke, he measured it. Every step I took, he watched it. The man who once held my hand with love now stared at me with suspicion. Emma, where were you today? Emma, why are you hiding receipts? Emma, why won't you look me in the eye? His voice grew sharper. His patience, thinner. At first, I brushed it off. I told myself, he'll calm down. He'll trust me again. But he didn't. Instead, he began asking his friends for advice. And his friends whispered poison into his ears. Maybe she's seeing another man. Maybe she's lying to you. No woman can hide money like this, unless something is wrong. One evening, he came home late. His face was red, his eyes dark with anger. He slammed his hand on the table. Tell me, Emma. Who is giving you this money? I froze. My children jumped at his voice. I wanted to scream the truth, but my lips stayed sealed. I whispered weakly. I told you. I'm working more. I'm trying my best. He shook his head. No. You're lying. I can feel it. From that night, our home changed. The silence at dinner was louder than words. The air was heavy, filled with doubt and anger. My son, only 8 years old, once looked at me and asked, Mama, Why is Papa so angry at you? Did you do something bad? I hugged him tightly. No, sweetheart. Mama did nothing wrong. But in my heart, guilt was screaming. Because lying is always wrong. Neighbors began to notice too. Whispers followed me everywhere. She looks different now. Her clothes are better. Something's going on. Even my relatives started calling more often. Checking in, asking strange questions. As if they sensed something. And I became a prisoner of my own secret. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat in peace. Every sound, every knock at the door, made me jump. The very money that was supposed to save me was now chaining me down. And karma was waiting. Closer and closer. Every day, my lies were cracking. And soon, everything would collapse that IT happened on an ordinary night. A night that began like any other. The children were asleep. The house was quiet. And I was tired from pretending all day. My husband sat across the table, staring at me. His eyes, sharp. His silence, heavy. Finally, he spoke. Emma. I want the truth. No more excuses. No more lies. My heart pounded. I forced a smile. I've told you everything. Why won't you believe me? He leaned closer. Because I know you're hiding something. That night, after I went to bed, he searched. He searched my purse. My drawers. My documents. And then, he found it. My bank passbook. The account. The balance, with millions written clearly on the page. The door to the bedroom flew open. He stormed in, holding the passbook in his shaking hands. What is this, Emma? He shouted. Where did all this money come from? Are you a criminal? Are you stealing? Are you? His words cut like knives. I sat frozen on the bed, my body trembling. Tears filled my eyes. And finally, I broke. I won the lottery. I cried. It's mine. I won it months ago. And I didn't tell you because I was scared. The room went silent. Only the sound of my sobs filled the air. My husband stared at me, as if I was a stranger. You didn't trust me, he whispered. You lied to me. Every single day. You let me believe the worst about you. I was trying to protect us. I screamed. I thought if I told you, the whole world would come for us. I thought if I kept it safe, we could live in peace. But he shook his head, tears of anger burning in his eyes. Peace? You call this peace? You destroyed our trust, Emma. You destroyed us. The children woke up from the shouting. They stood at the doorway, their little faces filled with fear and confusion. Mama? Papa? What's happening? My daughter asked softly. I reached for her, but my husband stepped back. And in that moment, I realized I hadn't just lost his trust. I was losing my family. The secret was no longer mine. The truth had exploded. And with it, my world began to burn. At first, it was just my husband. Angry. Broken. Betrayed. But he couldn't keep it to himself. Not for long. He told his brother. His brother told his wife. His wife told the neighbors. And soon, the secret spread like wildfire. By the end of the week, everyone knew. Emma, the poor housewife, had become a millionaire. And that was the moment the vultures arrived. Old relatives, who hadn't spoken to me in years, suddenly appeared at my door. They smiled too wide. Their voices dripped with fake sweetness. Emma, dear, we missed you so much. Emma, your family. And family helps each other, right? Friends I barely remembered called me night and day. Strangers sent letters. Some begged. Some demanded. Some even threatened. One afternoon, I opened my door to find a crowd waiting. Hands reaching out. Voices shouting. Help us, Emma. You're rich now, you owe us. Don't be selfish. My children cried behind me, terrified, clutching my dress. Inside our home, peace died. My husband, filled with rage, accused me again and again. This is your fault. You brought this curse into our lives. We fought every night. Voices rising. Walls shaking. Children hiding in their rooms. Money flowed out faster than I could control it. A loan to a cousin. A gift to an uncle. A demand from a neighbor. Every day, something new. And still, it was never enough. The more I gave, the more they wanted. The more I resisted, the more they hated me. I tried to explain. I wanted to protect us. I wanted a better life. But no one listened. Not even my own husband. He looked at me with eyes, not of love, but of resentment. You lied to me, Emma. You lied to all of us. You cared more about money than about family. Those words crushed me. And one night, my little daughter whispered in the dark, "Mama, do you love money more than us?" Her voice broke me completely. I held her tight, tears soaking her hair. "No, sweetheart. Never. I love you more than anything." But deep inside, I knew this was karma. Karma, striking back. Not because I won the lottery, but because I chose lies over truth. Secrets over trust. And now, I was losing everything. The house that once echoed with laughter now shook with arguments and silence. My husband stopped talking to me. He no longer looked at me as his wife, only as the woman who had destroyed his trust. At night, we slept in the same room, but oceans apart. His back turned to me, his breathing heavy with anger. And me, staring into the dark, wondering when everything went wrong. The children grew quieter. They stopped asking for toys. They stopped smiling. They stopped trusting. One evening, I found my son, sitting alone, clutching a drawing. It was of a house. A family. But in the picture, the mother was standing far away. Alone. I asked him, "Why did you draw this, sweetheart?" He whispered, without looking at me, "Because that's how it feels, Mama. You're not with us anymore." Those words shattered me more than anything else. I had all the money I once dreamed of, but my family was slipping through my fingers. Neighbors came daily. Relatives fought at my doorstep. Strangers sent letters of hate when I refused them. And my husband finally said the words I feared most. "I don't care about the money anymore, Emma. I just want the woman I married. But she's gone. You killed her with your lies." I broke down. On my knees. Begging for forgiveness. But forgiveness never came. That night, I realized the truth. Karma doesn't always come in the form of punishment from outside. Sometimes, karma lives inside your own home. In the eyes of your children. In the silence of your husband. In the emptiness of your heart. And mine had arrived. I had chosen lies over honesty. Fear over trust. Secrets over love. And karma took everything from me. Not my money, but the people I loved the most. So, what did I learn from all of this? That money can change your life, but lies can destroy it. I thought keeping the secret would protect my family, but instead, it poisoned the very bond we shared. Happiness is not hidden in numbers on a check. It lives in honesty, in trust, in love that cannot be bought. And when you forget that, karma always comes calling. My name is Emma. And this was my story. A story of fear. A story of lies. A story of betrayal. And above all, a story of karma's call. Now, dear listener, if you felt my pain, if my story touched you, leave a comment with your country and the time you're watching this. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, because there are many more stories waiting to be told. Stories of life. Stories of fate. Stories of karma. And who knows? The next story could be yours.